Good afternoon, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Hope everybody's doing well. We got about 30 minutes before a bigger name comes out here in Co-Wetzel. I know everybody's excited to see that. But to my far left here, Scott Lindy. To my immediate left, Alan Walker. You can read about them. You can Google them. They are Googleable. So we'll skip that and we'll get right into the meat of things. The purpose of this panel is to really talk about time management and how to use different things more efficiently to make your jobs easier. We all know that we only have so much time in a day. We're wearing many hats to get the jobs done. Programmers and employees of every company are doing more. Many things make us late, cost us time, meetings, people, other things in our lives, and all of those aspects. One thing I do want to remind everybody as we get into this is that AI is transcribing this. It will be available immediately following this session. The slides and some of the things that you're going to hear today will be posted in about a week, so you can actually use them, and there's some great takeaways, and there's some great action things. But going back to the AI, because we really do want to get into this, is that AI is both smart and scary. Can be. Used in the right way is an incredible tool, and it can be used for good. And I know it can be a huge time saver if set up and done correctly. So Scott, I really want to start with you because I know you've been at the forefront of that and how to use this from a radio and a business experience. So why don't you kick us off and get into that?
You know, whether it's radio or it's any business, the biggest difficulty with AI is the expectation that you have and how you think about it. When you treat AI, whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever it is that you use, when you treat that like a search engine or you treat it like something that is going to inherently know what you want, it's going to read your mind, it's going to be able to deliver on just a few sentences that you may type in, you get disappointed. You have that moment of disillusionment going, well, everybody says it's so great. It saves you so much time. It does all these things. It doesn't do anything for me, and it's usually wrong. There's a reason that happens. Understanding that reason is very, very important right now. OpenAI just released a report in January. It's called the Capability Overhang. And what the Capability Overhang says is that what AI is capable of and all the different features that are built right into ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, there's a lot of different tools in there. They're not being used. And that is the capability overhang where the technology is ready for something really big. Humans aren't because we haven't learned it yet and we kind of have that disappointment. How many people in here use AI for work? How many people use it every day? How many people have customized it in some way? That's good. This room's a little bit above average of what I usually see.
Yeah, but did you see the hand start to, like, it was less and less and less of every day and customize it?
Yeah. AI thrives on context. You have to tell it why you're asking what you're asking or what you want it to make. Giving it an example, being able to say, this is the reason that I'm building this. Here's what's important about it. Here's the things you should never include when you respond to this prompt. There's a lot of different theories on that. In a second, I'll show you a way to check what went wrong, which, a quick fix prompt or something that is just, hey, I'm going to give you a magic bullet here. Type this prompt in and boom, oh man, it made this cool picture. Isn't that cool? That's a one-time experience. Understanding what's going on underneath the hood is not that difficult. You're never going to understand all of it. The people who made it don't understand all of it, which kind of defines this technology that, there's truly never been anything like it. Bottom line, it's not going away. It's only going to get more sophisticated, and as it gets more sophisticated, it will get trickier to use, and we'll dig into that here with a few slides in a second.
Yeah, that's great. I know, and Alan, as we were preparing for this, AI was a big discussion. You had a great line that I love. I love the title. It's almost like it's a Liam Neeson movie. It's like Tyranny of the Urgent. Right. That sounds very ominous. So can you talk about that?
Well, it's not original to me. Charles Hummel came up with it a long time ago. But I was thinking about it as it relates to AI, because like any other technology, we have a tendency to try to use it for what it's not designed for, and try and replicate things that it's not. Like, think about when the internet first came out. We wasted a lot of time on the internet. We waste a lot of time with technology until we figure out what it is that we need it to do. And so the tyranny of the urgent is basically a structure to think about what are the jobs I need AI to do for me. So think about it like I'm hiring an employee, and I need this employee to do a specific job, whether that is a promo or come up with contest ideas or a run sheet, whatever it may be. You have to be as specific with it as you would be for an employee. So the tyranny of the urgent is basically we have two forces that are at play every day. There are the things that are urgent and the things that are important. And actually, it was President Eisenhower that said a long time ago, the urgent overwhelms the important. So you just think about your day. Like when you're getting ready to start, you have a certain amount of things you intend to do, and then the day starts. And all these urgent activities start to come in. And so the process of tyranny of the urgent is trying to decide where is AI best utilized to either help me with those crises, those urgent things that are happening. Frankly, a lot of our day is urgent but not important, so it's what we call the distraction quadrant. Things that are just eating up our day but aren't really useful moments in time. So where can it take some of that off our plate and let us focus in on the quadrant that's really the important things that maybe aren't urgent, but they're going to help us build our business and actually progress, right, as an organization. So in a little bit, we might actually show a chart about that. But the idea is that how can I take AI and really understand what job I'm going to give it to where I can focus on the important things that require a human and let it take off a lot of the crisis technical things that it can do faster, right, than I could do.
And it's not just AI that you can do that with. I mean, you can do that with people. I mean, being able to delegate, trusting them. I mean, there's more
100%.
ways to save time and to
Yeah.
get to the important stuff instead of the minutia that often distracts us.
You know, it's the day that you're most tired is when you've been reacting to what's been happening all day long versus proactively taking charge of the day. And those distractions could just as easily be people. It could be a variety of things that will come and derail our day for us.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but human nature is we all love checklists, and like I want to get things marked off my list. And do you find that people like they do the easier stuff because they can mark more off the list,
Yeah.
and they don't get to the important things that actually matter?
There's two things at play. The first one is we love our checklists, right? But we also love shiny objects. And we're wired to look for shiny objects. So that checklist can quickly be, ooh, there's something else I want to go play with or do, or and we get distracted, right, through that process as well. So I do think having your run sheet to where are the important things, not just the urgent things, becomes a critical thinking mechanism before you start to apply technology.
Amazing. Great segue of applying
I
technology.
need, I need a pill for that or something, because I can't. It's so hard to not want to. There's this thing that's new, or it's new information on something you already know, and it's like, that's important. I'm going to need that, and then you skip the big thing. That's so hard for me. I know it's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, the other thing too is that everything is not important because you wind up doing 10 things okay versus 5 things great.
Right.
And you need to do the 5 things great.
Right.
I mean, be great at
Right.
those things because that's what's really going to matter. Speaking about how to use technology, Scott, in your opening statements, you talked about how to customize AI. And I know you've done a lot of work with that. And as we saw, people like, yeah, I use AI. I use it every day. I don't customize it. So how can you do that? How can you use that tool specifically? There are other tools we'll talk about, but that one specifically, how can you customize it to generate daily use?
Well, I will tell you, I'm going to show you a few slides here. Let me get
Oh, it's getting serious now. He got up and moved
get
around.
myself
Yeah, we got-
organized here. I'm going to jump to the middle of this presentation because what you're talking about that's one of the more important things is customizing it. So there's
And let me jump in real quick as you get that set up. I'll just say, as he starts thinking about custom GPTs, I want you to think about, again, what are you going to hire it to do? Like, what's the one thing, the employee that you lost, that you don't have on staff anymore, the thing that's been added to your plate? What's that one thing that you could hire, like you would hire somebody to do this? And be thinking of that as he goes through what a custom GPT might be able to do for you.
Yeah, that's probably the premier way to think about it. We can capture that framework in our minds of thinking that way. The first thing I would tell you is how you prompt AI. There is no magic bullet prompt. There's a magic bullet way of thinking about it, though. The first thing you're going to want to do is stop letting the AI do what it wants to do, which is to please you. It wants to make you feel good about it being used. It's programmed to do that. So the researchers call it sycophancy. Sycophancy, like a sycophant.
That's a great point, Scott. I think that's an amazing thing for us to think about. You're really smart.
Well, I want to end sycophancy because it's just way too hard to pronounce, and it sounds like it's really close to something obscene, and I'm probably going to make a mistake one day. This is one of the ways. I think this slide is up there. The best way to do this, these are the custom instructions I have inside of Claude. Now, you don't have to go as hardcore as I do, but when in your settings, no matter what AI you're using, you can tell it how you want it to respond, and you can end the days of it wanting to make you feel good about using it. You should feel good about what it does for you, not the conversation that you're having. We all love that adulation, that congratulations, the praise that you'll get back from AI. This is take a look at this. These are my instructions for Claude, and I'm pretty hardcore. I'm like, look, I'm here for information. I'm here for help. I don't want you to make me feel good. One of the specific ones here is look for hidden assumptions, contradictions, and missing evidence. Always avoid telling me that saying a question, idea, or observation was good, great, fascinating, or profound, or excellent. Bypass the flattery. I don't want the flattery. I want the results. This gives me much more of a positive experience. I get a lot better results from my experience with AI anyway. So what Alan was referring to is a custom GPT. This is think of it as a separate version of the same ChatGPT that you would use in any other instance. And when I say custom GPT, know that this can be done in Claude. It could be done in Gemini. It could be done in Perplexity. A lot of the models that you may use, those are probably the top ones, but the ones that you may use are all capable of this. They have different tools inside them that are called different things. The one that we are going to focus on is ChatGPT. So what is a custom GPT? So it's that isolated version. Essentially, when you're prompting and you're giving the AI, here's what I want, here's the context that I'm looking for, here's the way I want you to respond. When you put all those things into a prompt, that's a lot. So you're loading this prompt up with, I want you to create me this promo, and I want it to include this contest and this time, and here's how you enter. And oh, by the way, this is what our listeners like. Oh, this is the name of our radio station. There's a lot going in there. Making the AI already know everything about your radio station, about your personalities, about your market, about your history, about the music you play, about the thing that makes you special, that morning show bit, whatever it is. What if the AI already had all that and you didn't have to ever remind it because it's already built in? That's what a custom GPT is. So I want to bounce out of here and go to the internet, and I think my good friends backstage are going to give me a way to bounce out of here. And
Did
yes,
AI make this presentation for you?
That's right, that's right. Okay, so, oh, wait a minute. Here we are in ChatGPT. Yes.
No, go for it. I was just going to distract the crowd while you were getting the tech going, so we're good. I was just going to say, if you want a sycophant, just get a dog. I mean, it's basically, it's wired for that.
All right, it's enough vamp. That's enough vamp. So, okay, inside ChatGPT, we've all seen this screen, right? This is where all these things right here, these are called custom GPTs. These are the ones I've built. When you haven't built any, you'll see Explore GPTs. When you look at these are all the ones that have been built by different builders who have given their GPTs to the platform. This is a great way to figure out what the heck are these. These are custom versions given special instructions and special loads of information to do specific tasks. To get the AI to do a specific task for you on a regular basis without it wondering, why is that task being asked for? Who is it for? How should I make it sound? How should I write it? When you create a custom GPT, that's what you're doing. You're building your own version of that. And if it sounds complicated, I want you just to stick with this till the end because it's going to tie together in about 2 minutes. This is a custom GPT I made. Now this is for a fake morning show. This is called Bing and Bong's Headline Hunter. This is actually, I have 2 versions of Bing and Bong, and I'm going to go with a, yes, that's the one I want. Okay, so this is, if I just click that and I click Update Local Stories, it already knows what I want. I'm the morning show producer for Bing and Bong, and I've studied them, and I found this way to work with AI to make things better. This is how I built this. So this is how you build the custom GPT. And you're going to get instructions. I'm going to have a QR code for you. You're going to have literally cut and paste ease of building these at the end of this panel. This is the instructions. So it looks like a prompt, kind of, doesn't it? It's exactly what it is. It's the instructions for how the AI should build something for you. You see goals. I wanted to perform an exhaustive internet search. These are the sources I want you to include. It's looking for weird news. Local news stories reporting interesting, off the beaten path, finding perplexing. I don't want to read all these to you, and you'll be able to see them online when I share that QR code. These are all the things I'm asking you to do. These are the constraints. These are the things I want my own custom version of AI to do. It's not going to focus on anything else. It's not going to search the internet for any other sites other than what I told it. I'm directing it. I'm now in charge of the AI. I say what it does. Also inside the custom GPT, I've added these 2 things. This is a morning show persona style. This dictates how this GPT is going to write its response. And it's also going to look for hot zips. I put a spreadsheet of hot zips into this custom version of ChatGPT, so it will prioritize any of the headlines that come from those hot zips. Let's run it. This is what happens. We'll do it in real time. Please, God, I hope it works. I've run this a couple of times, and sometimes it's, I had instructions in there, never repeat a story. And it had sometimes just stalled out. And I think this is like the 2nd or 3rd time I've run it today. And my internet connection is a little slow.
So while that's running real quick, Alan, I mean, I know one thing we talked about is like with AI specifically, with like an organizational use and having that perspective of how AI is going to be used.
You know, it's interesting because we just did a study about how, you know, leaders in organization think that we're using AI way more than individual contributors are, you know, within that organization. There's a huge gap, right, between what we're envisioning is going to be happening and what's actually happening, you know, for our people. And so I think there are some organizational considerations, you know, one of which would be proprietary, and some of them are a little bit better about privacy, you know, than others, and so some of that has to be sorted through. But I think what we're talking about here is that whenever you create something, it's like an instruction you're giving to an employee. If you're not clear, they're going to go off and do whatever. So if you have an intern, if you're not clear, they're not going to be able to do what you've asked them to do. If you have a new employee, if you're not clear, they're not going to be able to do. And the same thing is true, you know, of AI. So the phrase I like to use is I like to apply AI before I use AI. And what I mean by that is I want to use Alan's intelligence before I try to use artificial intelligence. Now, that works for me because my first name's Alan. But, you know, use your own intelligence before you activate that intelligence as it's coming through the process, which makes a huge difference in kind of the results that you get. So how's it coming along on your stories?
And the results are in.
I took the results that I got from the one that I ran about, I think it was maybe 30 minutes ago before this panel.
So it's like a cooking show where it's like, and it's done.
That's right. We're pulling it out of the oven, and look how beautiful it is.
The casserole.
The original headline is, I told ChatGPT, this particular custom GPT, give me the headline, give me the way it was written, give me a link, give me an over-the-top version of that, a summary of the actual story, and give me 3 lines that Bing might use, and give me 3 lines that Bong might use. It built those based on that custom knowledge document that I put into this ChatGPT that details their personalities and how they talk and what their style and tone is like. This is 10 chunks of content ready in about 30 seconds to maybe 60 seconds, depending on your internet speed. And now you're just making decisions. You can build a custom GPT for promo writing, for contest generation, for idea generation, for brainstorming, for social posts, for video scripts. What is it that you would like to expedite that you're going to do on a regular basis? You're always going to write imaging. You're always going to write promos. You're always going to have, some type of content that is specialized that you want to get. Maybe this is country music news. Maybe it's, different events around town. If the information is out there and you are capable of explaining something to a fellow employee when you direct them to help you with something, you can build one of these, and you're going to get all of those instructions that are going to be completely available, very understandable on a web page, that if you don't give this a shot, it's a mistake. This is what's coming, being able to put together that layered, contextual conversation, back and forth version of AI as opposed to let me ask it something and see what it says. That's done. The conversation back and forth is what is coming, and it's coming quick. And it's going to come in a lot of different ways.
Definitely. Thanks, Scott. Some really incredible stuff there. So now we're doing our job, and we have figured out AI, and we have customized it, and it's generating and that kind of thing. We still have to deal with people every day. We still have to deal with the interaction, of the people working at the radio stations or at our offices and those kind of things, with communication, with other things that are time savers as well. What do you see that's effective in those relationships and managing that?
Well, I worked for the Dale Carnegie Organization, and so, we wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, almost 100 years ago, and people haven't changed that much. And one of the things we realized when we're working with others, and one of the things that Mr. Carnegie really focused on a lot, is talking in terms of the other person's interest and thinking in mind of the bigger picture. And so it's easier to draw somebody to someplace than to push them to someplace. And so when we think about it from when I'm working with my team, if I'm clear about the vision, I'm clear about the importance of it, back to that tyranny of the urgent, then I'm able to pull and kind of get my people over to that spot versus try and push them into other areas. So one of my mentors in the business, he was from Laredo, Tennessee, which is just down in southern central Tennessee here. He used to say, he said two things. He said, you don't learn much the second time you're kicked by a mule. I've never been kicked by a mule, but apparently it's a bad thing, so you don't learn
kicked by a horse.
Okay,
similar.
Well, I think it's similar. It probably translates. But the second thing he said was keep the main thing, right? And I think that's where, particularly if it's AI, if it's time management, whenever we're interacting with people, as long as we have a very clear picture about what the main thing is that we're going for, then I think we use tools to get there, we work with our people to get there, we're much more efficient when we really have a clear picture of that main thing and keeping it so.
And always keeping it up front.
Absolutely, yeah.
I look at it a different way. I look at slightly differently of everything runs through a funnel, and as long as it feeds into that one thing, it's a very similar perspective.
there you go.
As long as everything you do is feeding towards that, typically the rabbit trails are what gets us, is when it gets out of that or starts spilling over the funnel, or you forget that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's a filter in terms of what we're doing and how we're focused, and if it's outside of the filter, then it needs to be thrown away.
Yeah. And Scott, I know that you've obviously worked in a lot of radio stations over your years. We worked together for a lot, and it's, one of the things that I always held to is you got to have disciples. And whether it's of the program director or whatever, I mean, Jesus had 12 of them to spread the word, and and you got to have people do the same thing. I mean, how do you manage people to where you're not having to manage people, in a sense, to save yourself time, because there's only so many things you can do?
I've learned from some of the greatest, time managers, and I will tell you the honest truth is it wasn't, the buildup of the lessons over time or, a structured playbook or anything like that. It was one moment of them saying the right thing to make me go, oh gosh, yeah, that's right. One of them was, what's the North Star? Why are we doing this? What is the goal? Because when you get a lot of creative people in one place, it can go anywhere. And it will if you let it. You started out trying to figure out how are we going to make people, go to our website with our activation on site at the fair. And pretty soon, you got the morning guy wrestling a bear. I mean, it's like, wait, well, what is, yeah, that's cool. We want to see him wrestle a bear. The bear will probably win and it'll be great because we don't like the morning guy.
Is that Bing or Bong that's going to be wrestling
That's
the bear? Bong wrestles the bear, guy.
That's Bond. So, but that when you have somebody who is intelligent enough to say something like that and go, wait a minute, what's the North Star? Because the more creative people are involved, the more difficult or more complicated things might get because you're creative people and that's what you do. That's in your DNA. When that starts to happen, it gets harder to pull it off. It gets harder and more difficult because now there's an expectation of this greatness because you're trying to build this thing that you actually probably don't need to build to get to that goal. It's not always the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus that you're supposed to put forth. You're supposed to put forth that win. What is that one thing you want to have happen and make it one thing? And it was, is Zena Burns in this room? Oh, you're right there. She said it. She said, what's the North Star? She was the one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, that's the main thing, the funnel, the brand, adhere to the brand if you've
Yeah.
ever studied brand management.
A lot of ways to
yeah,
saying
a lot
it.
of ways to say it. Yeah, and we're coming up on our time real quick, and all of this is going to be up on the website. There's also a list of daily time management aspects that are tangible and that you can do. A few of them are manage your time vampires. They're the people that suck the life out of you. Sometimes that's family members. Sometimes that's somebody you work with. When they say, hey, can I get 2 minutes? It's never 2 minutes, ever.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you wanted to say something.
Well, I don't like vampires.
Oh, okay, good. But then
I'm thinking of individuals right now.
no,
but it's probably not
that's
appropriate.
what was going on in your head. You're thinking about naming those people.
I did have someone who would do that, and I required them to answer 4 questions before they could talk with me. And the question was, what is the problem? What are the causes? What are some possible solutions? And what's the best possible solution?
Amazing.
And she had to answer those questions, and it was amazing how much that saved time when she did come, because she basically knew what she needed to do anyway. But it also stopped her from coming because she answered her own questions. So,
yeah. 2 things we'll finish on. One, Scott kind of alluded to it a little bit about, I'll share, is that you got to find time in your day to catch your breath. Every day, every week, but it is something in our society and in our way of life that it feels like we're not allowed to do that, and you are allowed to do that. You do have to stop to be creative, to have that time, because if you're just managing everything, the urgent, the tyranny of the urgent, you never stop and you never catch your breath and you never find your feet again, and you're just constantly taking things that are coming at you all the time.
There's been a tremendous amount of research recently about that very thing. And what we call it in the tyranny of the urgent is we call it the refresh quadrant. Originally in tyranny of the urgent, it was the non-important, not urgent, and it was kind of described as a quadrant you wanted to get rid of. But more and more we're seeing how critical that is for refreshing us to be creative, to think about things beyond just what we're focused on right now. And an analogy I heard that I really liked is it said, you think about 2 different athletes. You think about a sprinter, like the 100-meter sprinter, and you think about a marathoner. And think about the physique of each one, right? And you look at the sprinter goes in short sprints, and then they're done, right? They refresh. The marathoner goes on and on and on and on without a break. Now, which one do we look more like? Because we're going on and on and on, and so you get that haggard, not a chance to rest look versus that physique, which is really about taking that quadrant, that refresh quadrant, becomes a really critical spot. So where can I find time to just a quick look at something green, look at something outside, look at something that gets you some sunshine? It's huge for everything.
Yeah. One thing to that, to find the time to refresh, this is the last point we'll make, and then we'll get off the stage. But I think it's, this one will drive you crazy, but if you can manage it, it will change your life. It's called White at Night, and I started doing this back in my iHeart days because of handling 700, 800 emails a day. And every night when I went to bed, my email was empty. My inbox was empty.
What?
Yeah. It still is to this day.
Oh my God.
And so because it's a mind game in that you answer file, and you do it as you go. You can't let it accumulate. A lot of people use their inboxes for their to-do list. My to-do list is beside me on
Yeah.
paper.
That's
and
important.
because when you wake up and you look and there's already 30 in there that you left the day before, there's already anxiety of I'm never getting to the bottom of this. I'm never, and it's you're defeated before you ever start. And so if you can get to that level, it will change your life. I talked to Deborah Herman earlier today, and she's like, "You changed my life when you said that." It takes discipline to do, but I promise you, it will change your life if you can ever get to that level to where your to-do list is beside you on a piece of paper or in some other form or a note on your phone or whatever it happens to be. But do not use your inbox as a to-do list, because you wake up and you're immediately like, "Oh my God, I'm done. I'm done for the day." I mean, you never get to it. So
Let me finish with a quote.
go.
Make today a great yesterday. I've been obsessed with that. Make today, what can I do today to make it a great yesterday? Make today a great yesterday.
Oh, amazing. That's great.
Let's do it.
What a great way to leave it. So I think the three of us, I don't know that we'll ever have a chance to open for Co-Wetzel again, but that's what we just did. So
That's
thank
going
you,
on my
everybody.
resume.
Appreciate
Down.
you. Next up,
That's it.
Co-Wetzel.